Hey guys, I've done it. As you can see, I've crossed the pond and I'm in New York for one day. Over the course of the next 24 hours, I'll be out and about with different locals, about their languages and the different cultures that I can experience while I'm out and about in the city. My first stop was Carroll Gardens in Brooklyn, where I met up with Kalyan, a French PhD student. Hey Kalyan, hey, ça va? Ça va très bien, qu'est-ce qu'on va faire aujourd'hui? Super. So this part of town is Carroll Gardens in Brooklyn, right? I think, yeah?
It's a bit south from Williamsburg.
Okay.
It's very pretty, but less hipster than Williamsburg.
Okay.
And
Kalyan explained to me that Carroll Gardens is really changing. What had been an Italian neighbourhood for over 100 years is now home to the largest concentration of French speakers in New York City. But many Italian strongholds still remain. So we stopped into Monteleone's for the best Italian cheesecake in town.
Et ça fait déjà 3 ans que tu es ici, n'est-ce pas?
Oui.
Et qu'est-ce que tu étudies?
J'étudie la littérature française, mais plus dans un champ philosophique.
Ah d'accord. Est-ce que tu as besoin d'autres langues à cause de tes études ici?
Oui, l'anglais,
oui.
Principalement,
oui.
Surtout pour entrer en dialogue avec les théories actuelles. Et l'allemand, oui. Que je ne connais pas encore, mais je pense prendre des cours pour comprendre la philosophie en allemand.
Super.
Parce qu'on était à New York, il y a beaucoup de langues ici, l'espagnol, oui. le créole aussi, le créole haïtien, n'est-ce pas? Oui, je l'ai vu ce matin. C'était impressionnant en fait.
J'aimerais bien aussi voir la Louisiane, parce qu'on m'a dit qu'il y a encore des personnes qui parlent français.
Oui, il y a des cow-boys qui parlent français.
Oui,
oui.
Parce qu'ils sont en fait, ils sont des Cajuns, des Cajuns, qui sont en fait, ils étaient des Canadiens, ils étaient des Cadiens, des Acadiens. L'Acadie, c'est à côté du Québec. Et, c'est intéressant de voir la relation encore entre l'Acadie au Canada et la Louisiane, l'Acadie d'aujourd'hui.
Oh, buongiorno. Buongiorno. Tutto bene? Bene, bene.
E allora il caffè com'è?
Buonissimo, buonissimo, sì sì. Ma sono molto affamato. Je voudrais, je prends, vorrei, prendo la torta di formaggio. Ebbene.
Sì.
Hi everyone, muy buenos días. We're here in the Repertorio Español, which is a Spanish-speaking theatre right in the heart of Manhattan. And I'm now going to speak to a few cast members because they're putting on a performance of La Gringa. And I'd really like to know about the play and about how they're able to use Spanish in their everyday life here in the heart of Nueva York. So, let's go, vámonos. Hola, ¿qué tal? Matthew, encantado.
Un placer.
Encantado.
Hi,
Hola, Matthew, mucho gusto.
Nice to meet
Mucho
you.
gusto.
¿Cómo estás?
Estoy muy bien, un poco cansado, pero bueno, con el tiempo que hace fuera...
Oh, sí, la lluvia.
Bueno, ¿qué importancia tiene la comunidad hispana aquí? Porque creo que, bueno, no hay solamente una comunidad hispana, ¿no? Hay comunidades distintas, la puertorriqueña, la dominicana.
Yo diría la importancia de la comunidad hispana. Bueno, dentro de la comunidad hispana hay mucha diversidad. Yo tengo muchas amistades que se mudaron aquí de Puerto Rico y que estudiaron conmigo en el colegio, así que tengo una comunidad bastante grande de los boricuas locales que conozco desde pequeñito. Pero siempre vamos a bailar salsa, uptown.
¿Cómo siguen en contacto con el patrimonio, la herencia cultural aquí en Nueva York?
La comida.
La comida.
Si tú quieres tacos, sabes a dónde vas. Tú vas para Queens, o si quieres comida dominicana auténtica, vas para Washington Heights. Uno sabe los vecindarios que tienen la comida auténtica.
Sí, muy bien.
Para mí es eso.
¿Y creen que se puede pasar un día entero hablando solamente español en Nueva York? ¿Sería posible?
Muy posible. Yo tengo familia que ha estado aquí por 15 años y todavía no saben el inglés muy bien.
Wow.
Y trabajan y hacen sus cosas de negocios y todo eso y siguen igual.
Y tú naciste aquí, ¿no?
Sí, yo nací aquí. Yo tengo lo mejor de los dos mundos porque mi mamá solo me habla inglés y mi papá solo me habla español.
Wow.
Para ellos fue muy importante que yo aprendiera español primero y después cuando fuera a la escuela aprendí el inglés.
¿De qué se trata la obra La Gringa?
A la gringa, ¿con qué está? Es una muchacha que se llama María y ella quiere conectarse con su familia en Puerto Rico. Es la primera vez que ella visita Puerto Rico y su familia, y ella además ha oído historias de su familia, de sus padres, y ella va a conectarse con ellos, con su cultura, pero no la aceptan tan fácilmente.
La cuestión de la identidad y lo que es, o sea, lo que define a uno como boricua o dominicano, inglés, lo que sea. Porque ella está en una situación donde pues ella pues nació en los Estados Unidos, pero de familia boricua. Entonces cuando ella llega a Puerto Rico pues es muy americana, pero cuando está en los Estados Unidos pues es muy puertorriqueña.
Todo el mundo se puede conectar con eso de sentirse algunas veces como que no tiene su lugar y de a dónde pertenece uno.
Aunque somos de todas partes, ¿no? Que tenemos una parte estadounidense, americana, y otra parte puertorriqueña, cubana. ¿Y saben si hay gente que no sabe hablar español que viene aquí para ver las producciones?
Oh, muchísimas.
¿Sí?
Y nosotros somos bien high-tech aquí, tenemos ¿cómo se dice? Subtítulos, y pueden ver la obra y leer a la misma vez.
Sí. Esto es como un tesoro aquí en este vecindario.
Muy bien.
No hay muchas casas, no hay muchos teatros que le brindan esa oportunidad a la audiencia en la ciudad, y es importante que los artistas tengan voz y expresen sus ideas y lo que piensan. Y sí, parece ha sido una bendición poder trabajar con el repertorio.
All this talk about heritage got me thinking about my own, so I hopped onto a train to Midtown to grab lunch and a pint of Guinness with a friend from somewhere a little closer to home.
Hey, a bhfuil Greg agad?
Chun Stadu.
Go hénta. Go hanma agus tusa. Ba bhhailm chápínta Guinness nas a thola. Gur bh agad.
In the Irish exit here in Manhattan, and then with Trina. And Trina and I will be talking about we'll be talking about Irish language, Irish culture here in the heart of New York, and how we can maintain that.
Tá mé as cailmhíl chunta an clár. Yeah.
A bhfuil Greg agad?
Tá cúpla focail ach tá mé i Mogoni in New York.
Would you say that Irish is important to you?
I feel it's very important, especially because I'm living in a foreign country and I like to have my own identity, and sometimes I would speak a couple of focail with my husband, you know, even if we were on the subway in Manhattan. And we didn't want, you know, people, you're sitting directly opposite people and you don't want them to understand what you're saying. So the couple of focail come in handy.
Apart from language, is there any way you feel connected here with the wider culture?
I've been playing the fiddle since I was 12 years of age. My sister started playing first and I got jealous watching her play. So I taught myself how to play the fiddle. I joined a club in New Jersey as well, the Northern Irish Association. There's a big Irish community throughout New York. You have the Bronx, or Woodlawn and Yonkers, and there's a big Irish, we call it the Irish Riviera.
Okay.
We also have Gaelic Park in the Bronx where they play Gaelic football and Irish hurling. They even actually have some Irish, you know, if you're a really good football player or hurler, you arrive and they set you up with a job in New York and you get to play hurling or football. They just like to be together and, you know, tell stories in the bars and drink over their pints of Guinness. Yeah.
Well, speaking of,
Sláinte agus gorf céad míle maith
After talking to Trina, I was keen to find out a little more about what things were like in the past living in New York.
Ciao ragazzi, I'm here with Hugh, who's an Italian American, and we're off to learn about Italian immigration and immigration in general here at the Tenement Museum on Orchard Street in Lower East Side. Andiamo.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
John, Hugh.
Hi John, Matthew, nice to meet you.
Go inside.
Thank you.
Okay.
we are trying to tell the story of American immigration through several of the former residents who lived in this building during that time period. These individuals all have different backgrounds, lived here at different times, went through different struggles. We're going to focus for you guys mainly on an Italian family by the name of Baldisi that lived here in the late 1920s through the Depression, and they were actually one of the families that were evicted. Every 20 or so years, the demographics of the neighborhood were changing dramatically. So obviously, you know, in 1863, when the building first opened, it was in Deutschland, Little Germany. But you know, you had in the 20th century, you know, periods where it was a large Italian population, a large Yiddish population. Post World War II, with a large Puerto Rican migrant population and Chinese population that's still here to this day.
I remember sitting around the table in the kitchen under the window.
We listened to recordings of Josephine, a second-generation Italian-American who had lived in this very room as a child. By seeing what immigrants in New York have endured, I began to feel I was gaining a deeper appreciation for the rich, multicultural history of the city. The museum was really inspirational, really emotional. Ti è piaciuto?
Molto, molto.
Allora, tu ti chiami Hugh. Secondo me Hugh non è un nome molto italiano.
No.
Ma tu sei italo-americano?
Sì.
Allora.
Quindi, cioè, sono italo-americano, sì, però ho parenti siano irlandesi, anche italiani. Quindi anche una roba molto americana, sì. Essenzialmente, che siamo sempre di un parte diverso del mondo. Quindi.
Interessante. Allora, ci sono tanti italiani qui a New York e parlano certamente inglese, ma parlano non italiano, è italo-americano. Cos'è l'italo-americano?
Interessante come concetto secondo me, perché qua a New York ovviamente sento molto italiano, però dopo di averlo imparato posso dire che quello che sento non è un italiano che ho imparato lì, cioè è diverso, nel senso che è quasi il dialetto che è cambiato un po' con l'americano, appunto.
Sì, quello che mi è interessato tanto è stato vedere che c'erano tante famiglie che con tante lingue e pensare che c'erano tante persone nello stesso palazzo parlando italiano, irlandese, yiddish, forse cinese.
Esatto.
E pensare che quello è per me l'idea degli Stati Uniti.
Mi sono reso conto che è ancora così oggi, cioè nel senso che qua nel Lower East Side, che è sempre la stessa zona, si parla da tutto, c'è Little Italy, c'è Chinatown, c'è miliardi di cose e secondo me è sempre New York, è sempre l'America che parliamo un po' di tutto, anche adesso.
My time to explore the city was drawing to a close, but I wanted to squeeze in just one more stop, Chinatown, where I met my friend Ting for some of New York's best soup dumplings.
You must have had such a busy day.
It was. I mean, I forget how big the city is, and even just being here as well. I mean, this looks like a city within a city.
Yeah, I mean, well, Chinatown, this Chinatown, New York City's Chinatown in the Lower East Side is, I believe, the largest population of Chinese settlers outside of Asia, and one of the 9 Chinatowns in New York City.
In New York?
Yeah.
Gosh.
And I think there's 12 within the New York kind of boroughs.
Yeah. And how do you go about using Chinese in your daily life here?
I mean, as a kind of more like second generation, I don't really get to use my Chinese as much as I'd like. I do speak Mandarin, predominantly like with my parents and my grandparents. However, you know, whenever I am in Chinatown or other areas that are predominantly Chinese speaking, I do get to kind of use my Chinese a little bit. You see these ones, the soup dumplings with pork, or 小笼包.
And that's bao as well, right?
That's also bao, exactly. 可不可以来一笼小笼包？普通的，对，So what do you think of New York?
It's brilliant. I mean, actually to be here and to see that you can spend your entire day speaking different languages without even having to leave the city. I mean, or even certain parts of the city. I think what really surprised me and really interests me as well was to see that the languages that have been spoken here for quite a long time now, that they've also developed into their own different kind of, they're also now a different variety of the language. But Italian here is basically Italian American, that they have different words, such as they say Germanese for tedesco, for German, because it obviously comes from English, etichetta for ticket, and that was really interesting to see. And the same with other languages as well, that they've kind of taken on a new identity of their own, and they've mixed with English, maybe with other languages that they've come into contact here.
So if you had more time in New York, or like if you ever came back, what was something that you didn't have time for or would like to do next time?
I think if I come back next time, I definitely want to learn a language that's spoken here widely. The only question is, like, there are so many of them, and you could do Chinese, and then I could practice with you, and then we can come and eat dumplings again.
You can order yourself next time.
Exactly. Or I could maybe do Haitian Creole, because I saw so much and heard quite a bit of that as well. I mean, you see it on the subway.
As our Chinese people like to say, there's this term we say, 加油, which means to add oil, so to speak, to fire. So, like, I think you should 加油 with all of your language learning and such.
Thank you.
Want to have your own language adventure? Click here to learn a language.